It is late evening, and Ethan Walker pushes open the front door, smiling softly to himself. He left work early, thinking he would surprise his wife with dinner from her favorite restaurant, hoping to restart the romance fading between them. But as soon as he enters the house, something feels wrong. Too quiet, too clean, too staged. The living area is spotless, smelling of expensive perfume rather than their usual soft lavender. He walks toward the bedroom, confused, and then stops in the doorway. On the bed lies an open suitcase, packed perfectly with luxury dresses, heels, and new lingerie he has never seen before, pieces she never wears for him anymore. A knot forms in his stomach. The bedroom is still and silent, yet everything in it screams secrets, lies, and preparation. Ethan suddenly realizes this isn't a work trip. It's something else. Ethan takes a slow step inside, trying to make sense of what he's seeing, when he suddenly hears something, soft laughter coming from Hannah's phone on the vanity table. He freezes, instinctively hiding behind the partially open bathroom door. His heart pounds so loudly he fears it will expose him. Hannah sits in front of the mirror, smiling in a way he hasn't seen in years. "I can't wait to see you at the resort. Don't worry. Ethan thinks it's work," she whispers. Ethan's breath catches in his throat. Then he hears the response, a man's voice, confident, mature, and intimate. Daniel Brooks, her boss. Ethan feels the floor disappear beneath him. His fingers shake and numbness spreads through his body. Hannah suddenly hears a noise, hangs up quickly, and walks out of the room before Ethan can compose himself. By the time Hannah returns to the room, Ethan is pretending to have just walked in from work, greeting her with a forced smile and a flimsy excuse about traffic. She becomes overly sweet, overly cheerful, too kind, too affectionate, the way guilty people act when they're afraid of being found out. She insists he shouldn't drop her at the airport tomorrow, saying she doesn't want him to be late for work again. Her voice sugarcoats every word, but her eyes are restless, calculating. Ethan nods and plays along, but inside he is dying. Later that night, he lies in bed beside her. She falls asleep instantly, peaceful, unbothered. Ethan stares at the ceiling in the dark, his chest tight, realizing the truth. Tomorrow she won't be flying for business. She'll be with another man. And now he knows it. A storm has officially begun. Before life broke him, Ethan Walker was a definition of confidence, ambitious, talented, full of plans. He once dreamed of starting his own tech company, and his future looked bright until a wave of layoffs shattered everything. The failure crushed him, not just financially but emotionally. During those years of rebuilding, it was Hannah who stayed by his side, or so he believed. He worked long hours at mediocre jobs, doing whatever it took to financially support Hannah through grad school. He told himself that success would come later, that sacrifices were temporary. Hannah became his anchor, his one safe person, the reason he kept going. For Ethan, love wasn't just a feeling. It was loyalty, devotion, and survival. By the time they married, he was certain he had won in life, the woman he loved, the future he'd planned. He never imagined that she would change. Everything shifted the moment Hannah entered the corporate world. New friends, weekend brunches, networking events, late-night work gatherings, a world obsessed with status and superiority. Ethan watched his confidence in her career slowly transformed into arrogance. The woman who once welcomed his hugs began pulling away from them. She took trips without sharing details, kept her phone face down, and returned home smelling of expensive cologne that wasn't his. Liam, Ethan's best friend, noticed before Ethan did. He warned him that Hannah's energy toward him had changed, not affectionate anymore, but irritated. Claire, Ethan's sister, tried to gently tell him, "She cares too much about social image. Be careful." But Ethan refused to believe any of it. He clung to the idea that marriage was forever, that loyalty guaranteed loyalty in return. To admit something was wrong meant admitting his sacrifices had been for nothing, and he wasn't ready to end the present. Ethan moves through marriage like someone tiptoeing around an emotional landmine. When he reaches for affection, Hannah flinches or snaps, accusing him of being needy or insecure. When he asks innocent questions, "Where are you going? Why are you late?" she rolls her eyes, claiming he is controlling her. The gaslighting crawls into his mind, slowly convincing him that he is a problem, that his fears are irrational, that his instincts are delusional. And yet, he still tries to make her happy. He brings flowers home, double-checks dinner preferences, minimizes his needs, hoping love will return if he loves her enough. In his quietest thoughts, he fears something darker. If Hannah leaves, he loses everything. The woman he built his life around, the only person he allowed himself to lean on. To him, losing her feels like losing his whole identity. The morning of the business trip arrives with a tension that suffocates the house. Hannah rushes around, pretending to be late, avoiding eye contact, her suitcase already waiting at the door before sunrise. Ethan stands there watching her, calm on the outside, chaos on the inside. When he insists on dropping her at the airport, she freezes for a second too long before forcefully smiling. She makes excuse after excuse. You're tired. Traffic will be horrible. You need a rest for work. Each line drenched in panic. But Ethan doesn't bend. He takes the suitcase, opens the car door, and they drive in silence until the airport comes into view. At the curb, he hugs her goodbye, and for a split second, he searches her eyes for truth, but she pulls away too quickly. As she walks inside, he watches her turn toward arrivals, not departures. Something inside Ethan snaps, not anger, but cold clarity. He follows her from a distance, blending into crowds, heart thundering without a sound. Hannah stops near the hotel entrance attached to the airport and scans the area nervously. When Daniel Brooks appears, tall and confident, Hannah doesn't hesitate. She wraps her arms around him from behind and kisses the back of his neck. Ethan's world goes silent. People walk around him. Announcements echo overhead. Planes roar outside, but he hears none of it. He hides behind a large concrete pillar, hands trembling as he watches them check into the hotel together. His breath becomes short, but he forces himself to lift his phone. He takes pictures, videos, proof he never wished to need. Every second feels like a stab, but he stays still, recording everything, because now the lie is undeniable. Ethan reaches a parking lot in a daze, barely remembering how his feet carried him there. He gets into the car and shuts the door. The silence hits like a punch. He grips the steering wheel and screams silently, face twisted, but no sound escapes. He punches the dashboard once, twice, then stops, breathing hard. He knows confronting her now would only give her time to twist the story, to paint him paranoid, insecure, dramatic. She's done it before. So he wipes his face, even though there are no tears yet. His voice trembles, but his words are steady. I will not cry. Not today. I need to know the full truth first. That is the moment everything changes. The heartbreak does not disappear. It freezes into calculation. Ethan turns on the engine and drives away, not to escape pain, but to understand it completely. For the next 7 days, Ethan becomes a quiet storm. No shouting, no accusations, just calm, methodical truth-seeking. He tracks GPS data from Hannah's phone logs, cross-checks timestamps with credit card statements, and quietly asks around her workplace. Office rumors confirm everything he feared. Late nights that weren't work, hotel bookings disguised as business expenses, and Hannah spending far more time with Daniel than any mentor should. Liam helps discreetly, digging through old social posts and corporate event photo albums, revealing how long the affair has likely been happening. Claire, protective as always, urges Ethan to see a lawyer and protect himself, but Ethan hesitates. He still loves Hannah, not blindly, but painfully. He needs to understand why. He needs to know whether there is anything left to save. For him, the truth isn't a weapon yet. It's an answer he's desperate for. When Hannah returned from the business trip, she brings distance with her like a suitcase. She barely kisses Ethan hello, claims she's too tired to be intimate, and avoids touch like it burns her. Ethan observes more than he speaks, watching the way she flinches from affection, as if his love is now an inconvenience. One night she finally opens up, but not in the way he hoped. She says she wants more from life, that she's tired being the only ambitious one, and that Ethan is not driven enough for the future she imagines. Each sentence lands like a bullet, yet Ethan remains composed, agreeing softly rather than provoking conflict. She gaslights him again. You're insecure. You don't understand my needs. I deserve to feel desired. And even though each word breaks him, some part of Ethan still wants to save the marriage rather than walk away. Determined not to collapse, Ethan tries to fix what he thinks is broken in himself. He wakes early, starts working out, sharpens his resume, and applies for better jobs. He replicates the man he once was, confident, driven, hopeful, believing that if he improves himself, Hannah will come back emotionally. But the more he rises, the colder she becomes. Every achievement seems to irritate her rather than inspire her. It becomes painfully clear she doesn't want a better husband. She wants an exit. The breaking point comes when a bouquet of luxury roses arrives at their house. Daniel's card is missing, but Ethan recognizes a floral brand, the handwriting on the tag. Hannah dismisses it instantly. They're from a client. Ethan nods silently, offering no reaction. Inside, he marks the lie with calm precision. The war is no longer emotional. It's strategic now. The morning of Hannah's next business trip arrives like a replay. Suitcase open, expensive dresses laid out, the same perfume lingering in the air. But this time, Ethan is not the silent observer. While she folds her clothes mechanically, Ethan steps forward and says softly, "Let me pack for you." The words hit Hannah like a slap. Her breath stutters, her smile freezes, and she fumbles for excuses that sound more desperate than believable. Before she can stop him, her phone buzzes on the nightstand. A notification lights up the locked screen. Daniel. Rooms booked. Can't wait to finish what we started. Hannah lunges to the phone, but Ethan has already seen it. There's no more guessing, no more denial or doubt. Time stops as Hannah realizes the carefully curated lie has collapsed. Ethan finally holds the truth in his hands, and this time she can't hide. The confrontation erupts quietly, painfully, not with yelling, but with truth laid out in front of her like broken glass. Ethan unlocks his phone and shows Hannah everything. The airport photos, the video of her kissing Daniel, the hotel receipt, the dates and times. At first she denies it with shaky laughter, then shifts instantly to anger, shouting that Ethan made her feel unwanted. She accuses him of being the reason she strayed, claiming she deserves to feel desired, and that Daniel sees her value, while Ethan never did. It isn't remorse, it's entitlement. And then her mask slips further. She admits she never planned to divorce Ethan. She wanted both worlds, the security of a loyal husband and the thrill of a secret affair. She thought Ethan would always stay quiet, always bend, always forgive. She thought he was trapped. This time he isn't. Ethan remains perfectly still, his voice steady, not trembling, not weak, not broken. "You're right," he says. "I wasn't driven, but I am now." He reveals the changes she never saw coming. He already shut down their jointly owned accounts, reopened his tech startup with new investors, and legally transferred the house back into his name since he bought it before marriage, documents finalized days ago. For the first time, panic replaces arrogance in Hannah's eyes. She stares at Ethan as if she's seeing a stranger, not the obedient husband she controlled, but a man with power, boundaries, and escape. Her voice shifts from rage to pleading, trying to pull him back into emotional dependency. But Ethan doesn't react. The shift in control is irreversible. Hannah realizes, with dawning terror, that Ethan is no longer the broken one. She is. Ethan files for divorce the following week, not out of rage, but clarity. There is no yelling, no insults, no dramatic exit. He hands Hannah the signed papers at the dining table where they once ate dinners full of hope, and simply says, "This isn't love anymore." What follows is a storm, not from Ethan, but from Hannah. She tries seduction first, reminding him of memories and intimacy that no longer mean anything. When he doesn't bend, she cries, blames Daniel, and pleads that she made a mistake. She promises therapy, promises change, promises a new beginning. Ethan listens, but his voice is calm when he answers, "I loved you more than I loved myself. That was my mistake, not yours." It's not cruelty, it's closure. For the first time, he chooses himself, and the decision is final. Hannah expects Daniel to save her, to leave his wife and choose her after losing Ethan. But Daniel vanishes the moment consequences appear. He stops responding to her texts, avoids her at work, and denies any inappropriate relationship when questioned by HR. Suddenly, Hannah is not glamorous. She is a liability. Rumors spread, colleagues distance themselves, and promotions disappear. The man she sacrificed everything for refuses to stand by her. The job that fed her ego now suffocates her reputation. She tries calling Ethan again, not out of love, but desperation, looking for security and devotion she once took for granted. But the number she knew no longer belongs to him. The world she traded her marriage for collapses one brick at a time, leaving her alone with the truth she never imagined. She didn't lose Ethan. She destroyed herself. Ethan starts over, not to prove anything to anyone, but because he finally remembers who he is. He moves to a new city, rents a small apartment with big windows and quiet mornings, and pours himself into his revived tech startup. Investors believe in him. Clients respect him. And for the first time in years, he believes in himself. Weekends are spent with Liam and Claire again, laughing, reconnecting, building relationships he once abandoned for a marriage that never deserved his loyalty. He hikes, he reads, he cooks, he breathes. There is no bitterness, no obsession with Hannah's downfall, only growth, peace, and gratitude for the lesson. He didn't win because she lost. He won because he finally chose himself. And on a calm Sunday morning, sipping coffee on his balcony, Ethan smiles. Not because life is perfect, but because he is free. 1 year later, Ethan feels like a different man. Not because life became easier, but because he learned to live for himself. On a calm afternoon, he sits at a small cafe near the busy city square. Sunlight filters through the window, warming his face as he laughs openly with a friend. Not a lover, not a rebound, just a genuine connection with another human being. He's relaxed in his posture, shoulders no longer tense with anxiety, eyes no longer searching for approval. He speaks confidently, smiles easily, and listens fully, present in the moment rather than trapped in memories. The world around him isn't perfect, but it is peaceful, and that peace belongs to him alone. For the first time in years, he doesn't feel the weight of survival. He simply feels alive. Outside the cafe, life delivers an unplanned intersection. Hannah stands across the street, holding a paper cup that has long gone cold in her shaking hands. She looks thinner, tired, almost faded, like someone who's been living on regrets instead of air. Her eyes find the window, drawn instinctively to the sound of Ethan's laughter. She sees him, not the broken man she once dismissed, but someone renewed, confident, whole. She doesn't move closer. She doesn't dare interrupt. Hannah watches with silent devastation as he speaks with ease, surrounded by warmth she no longer has access to. The realization hits quietly but brutally. She didn't lose Ethan because he changed. She lost him because she didn't. Her choices finally stand in front of her with no excuses left to hide behind. For a single second, their eyes meet. No shouting, no bitterness, no longing, just truth. Ethan doesn't look away out of discomfort, nor does he smile out of pity. There is nothing left between them except a past that no longer controls either their futures. Then, gently, Ethan turns his attention back to his conversation, his smile soft and genuine. In that moment, Hannah finally understands. Ethan didn't move on to replace her. He moved on to find himself. Her punishment was never revenge. It was having to watch him become the man she didn't believe he could be. And Ethan's victory wasn't success, business, or strength. It was peace. The final thought that anchors his journey is simple, quiet, and true. I didn't win by hurting her. I won by choosing me.